Is there an extraterrestrial landing strip in Peru? Have you ever heard of the Nazca Lines? Many have not. The Nazca Lines are a collection of hundreds of giant geoglyphs etched into the desert floor. These lines form various shapes, including animals, plants, geometric patterns, and human figures. They are located in the Nazca Desert, a plateau stretching over 50 miles, 80 kilometers, between the towns of Nazca and Palpa in southern Peru. These geoglyphs are believed to have been created between 500 BCE and 500 CE, but there is much dispute over who actually created these geological feats. Geoglyphs are large designs or motifs created on the ground, typically by arranging stones, removing earth to reveal a contrasting substrate, or shaping the landscape in some other way. They are best seen from an aerial view due to their grand scale. While crop circles and geoglyphs share similarities in that both are large designs created on the ground, they are distinctly different in how they are created. Geoglyphs are made by rearranging natural materials like stones, removing topsoil to reveal different colored soil beneath, or modifying the landscape in some other durable way. So it's like creating an earth sculpture. Whereas crop circles are typically created by flattening crops such as wheat, barley, or corn in specific patterns. They are usually temporary, can be formed overnight, and are more akin to creating a crop sculpture. The Nazca culture did not develop a writing system like those of other ancient civilizations, such as the Maya or the Inca. Consequently, there are no surviving texts, inscriptions, or written records describing the lines or how they were constructed. Before we explore the civilization of people who hold the secret to these amazing designs, let me ask you to support me by sharing, liking, and subscribing to my channel. We know that the Nazca people lived because archaeologists and scholars have pieced together information about them through archaeological excavations, analysis of material culture, and studies of their monumental architecture and geoglyphs. By examining artifacts, architecture, and burial sites, researchers have gained insights into Nazca society, including their religious beliefs, social organization, and agricultural practices. However, much about the Nazca culture remains mysterious, and their lack of a writing system adds to the enigma surrounding this ancient civilization. The term Nazca was first used by archaeologist Max Uhl in the early 20th century to describe the ancient civilization that inhabited the region of southern Peru where the Nazca Lines are found. Here's an overview of what we know about them. The Nazca people lived in small, dispersed settlements across the arid Nazca region. These settlements consisted of simple adobe structures and were often located near water sources such as rivers or seasonal streams. Nazca society is believed to have been hierarchical, with evidence suggesting the presence of social stratification. Elaborate burial sites with rich grave goods indicate the existence of social elites. Also, the Nazca were skilled artisans known for their ceramics, textiles, and metalwork. Intricately decorated pottery vessels, textiles with vibrant colors and intricate designs, and metal objects such as jewelry and ornaments have been found in archaeological excavations. Iconography associated with water, fertility, and agricultural abundance is prevalent in Nazca art, indicating the importance of these themes in their religious beliefs. Nazca art often depicts supernatural beings, zoomorphic figures, which is a deity in animal form, and anthropomorphic characters, which are deities in human form. It is believed that the Nazca culture had a complex belief system with elements of animism and shamanism. We'll look at those concepts next. Let's look a little deeper into this spiritual belief system. Animism is a belief system which places spiritual significance to natural phenomena, including animals, plants, rivers, mountains, and other elements of the natural world. In animistic traditions, it is believed that everything, animate or inanimate, possesses a spiritual essence or soul. This spiritual essence is often considered to be the source of life, consciousness, and vitality. Animism emphasizes a deep interconnectedness between humans and the natural world, with rituals, ceremonies, and practices aimed at maintaining harmony and balance with the environment and the spiritual forces that inhabit it. Shamanism is a spiritual practice where certain individuals known as shamans have the ability to communicate with the spirit world and mediate between the human and spiritual realms. Shamans are typically revered as healers, guides, and spiritual leaders within their communities. Their focus is on healing, spiritual protection, and maintaining balance within their communities. We must address another aspect of such spiritual connection, which is channelers, who are sometimes referred to as mediums and claim to channel or receive messages, guidance, or energy from beings in the spirit world, such as angels, ascended masters, or extraterrestrial entities. Channelers typically channel information or teachings from spiritual beings to offer guidance, insight, or enlightenment to individuals seeking answers or spiritual growth. It's not clear whether the people of Nazca were shamanistic, channelers, or both. Maria Rieke, a German archaeologist and mathematician, dedicated much of her life to studying the Nazca Lines and proposed that they had astronomical and calendrical purposes. According to Rieke, the geoglyphs were used to mark important dates in the agricultural calendar. She theorized that the Nazca people used the lines to predict the timing of seasonal changes, which was crucial for farming in the arid environment of the Nazca Desert. She identified specific lines that she believed corresponded to astronomical phenomena, such as the rising and setting of stars. Most of her focus was on astrological connections. Maria campaigned tirelessly for the protection of the Nazca Lines, raising awareness about the importance of preserving these ancient artworks from damage and erosion. Rieke's dedication to the study of the Nazca Lines earned her the nickname Lady of the Lines. She published several books and papers on her findings, including Mystery on the Desert, which outlines her theories and research on the lines. Maria is of the belief that the intricate and enormous designs are man-made. Now let's look at the other side of the coin. Erich von Däniken is a Swiss author known for his controversial theories about ancient astronauts and extraterrestrial influence on early human civilizations. He gained widespread attention with his 1968 book, Chariots of the Gods, which proposed the idea that ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians, Mayans, and Incas, were visited by advanced beings from other planets who influenced their cultures, religions, and technologies. He and others argue that the intricate designs and precise geometric shapes of the Nazca Lines are too sophisticated to have been created by ancient civilizations using simple tools and methods. The large-scale nature of the Nazca geoglyphs, along with their visibility primarily from the air, has led some to suggest that they were created with the intention of being viewed by extraterrestrial visitors flying overhead. The ancient astronaut theory proposes that ancient cultures around the world were visited by extraterrestrial beings who influenced human development, technology, and culture, including the construction of megalithic structures and geoglyphs like the Nazca Lines. Remember, the Nazca Lines stretch over 50 miles, so there are many large carvings which consist of various geometric shapes, stylized animals, and anthropomorphic figures etched into the desert floor of the Nazca region in southern Peru. These depictions are large-scale geoglyphs, best viewed from an elevated vantage point such as an aircraft. Here are some of the common types of depictions found within the Nazca Lines. Depictions of birds are among the most common motifs in the Nazca Lines. They include hummingbirds, condors, pelicans, and other avian species, often depicted with elaborate plumage and distinctive features. There are also many geoglyphs of animals such as monkeys, llamas, jaguars, and spiders found among the Nazca Lines. These depictions vary in size and detail, with some featuring naturalistic representations and others stylized or abstract forms. Some Nazca geoglyphs depict humanoid figures, often with exaggerated or stylized features such as elongated heads, arms, or legs. These figures may be depicted in various poses, such as standing, walking, or dancing. Certain anthropomorphic figures within the Nazca Lines are believed to represent deities, shamans, or mythological beings from Nazca cosmology and religion. These depictions may be associated with religious rituals, ceremonies, or beliefs. There are also many geometric shapes and patterns. The Nazca Lines include numerous straight lines, some of which extend for several kilometers across the desert landscape. These lines vary in width and direction, forming geometric patterns and alignments. Some believe that these straight lines were runways for celestial aircraft. Alongside the animal and humanoid figures, the Nazca Lines feature geometric shapes such as triangles, trapezoids, and spirals. These shapes are often arranged in intricate patterns and designs. While less common than animal and geometric motifs, some Nazca geoglyphs depict plants, flowers, and botanical elements. These depictions may have agricultural or fertility symbolism. Some researchers propose that certain Nazca Lines align with astronomical phenomena, such as the solstices or equinoxes. These alignments may have served as markers for celestial events or seasonal calendars. The interpretation of the Nazca Lines' depictions and their significance remains a subject of debate among archaeologists and researchers. While some interpretations focus on practical purposes such as irrigation, religious rituals, or astronomical observations, others emphasize symbolic and cultural meanings related to Nazca cosmology, mythology, and worldview. In reality, the depictions can be a combination of both. One of the most famous examples often cited in discussions of extraterrestrial influence on the Nazca Lines is the so-called astronaut figure, sometimes referred to as the spaceman or astronaut of Palpa. However, mainstream archaeologists interpret this figure as a stylized representation of a human or shamanic figure wearing ceremonial attire rather than an extraterrestrial being. So now it's up to you. What do you think? Were the Nazca Lines created through the manual labor of a relatively small civilization with chisels and primitive hammers in a way that they would never see them from the air? Were they assisted by extraterrestrials with advanced technologies? And if you think that's fringe, I have one more option. Do you think that these spiritual people operated at a higher level than we do and mastered the manipulation of energy, including perhaps even levitation? The photos and artwork in this video are all aerial views and excavated items from the actual Nazca Lines. Feel free to go back and study them more closely, you. What do you think? Until the next adventure, remember that nothing is impossible.